Hello and welcome to today's crafting session, and today we are going to look at how to make some serviette flowers. So these are just paper flowers, as you can see, and they are made out of serviettes. So it's very quick and simple. You just need a few things. I'm just going to put those over there so I've got some space to work. So you'll need a serviette. And you want something that either is a 2-ply or a 3-ply serviette. As you can see on there, these are a 3-ply. This one that I'm going to show you with is a 2-ply. So it just means it has 2 layers to it. So what you want to do to start with is cut your serviette into the 4 squares. Now obviously you can use other things, you don't have to use serviettes, you can use any lightweight paper. So you could use kitchen roll, that sort of thing, anything that has a couple of layers, and you can make them any size you want, and I'm just going to make them this size. Simply because it's easy, and I'm all for easy. Somebody did ask me if you could make them out of fabric, and the answer is yes and no, because you really need a fabric that's light enough not to drop and preferably wouldn't fray. So I would say there's lots of other techniques that you can do to make fabric flowers. So I would say use this technique for paper, and if people would really like to learn how to make some fabric flowers, I can do those in another video. Now the other thing I want to say is if your serviette has this, I don't know if you can see it very well, this kind of crimped piece here where they've stuck it together, the edges, you might, before you start, just want to just separate the layers a little bit, which as you can see is easier said than done. So you don't want to take them at the moment completely apart. But you just, as I say, just where these crimped edges are, just maybe just separate them now, because it will make it a little bit easier later on. So as you see, I've not completely separated them. Just giving myself a little bit of a head start for in a minute. Sounds like feet in the snow, that sound, doesn't it? And then you're just gonna lay them on top of each other. On this one, which is this serviette, I layered them back to front because they have a white side and a coloured side, but it doesn't matter. And the more you make, you can just experiment with them. So again, just take the edges apart, not the whole thing for the moment, but but as I say, it will just make it just a little bit easier when you come on to the later stage. And again, you just want to place the layers on top of each other. So the other thing that you'll need is something to hold the middle of the flower together. If you want to put these flowers in a vase, then you will need something like some wire, so this is actually the wire that I've used on my ones. It's a very fine floristry wire that comes in, I don't know if you can see that it comes in a length. So that's what I used on mine, but that's because I had that in the house. You can use something like this. This is just a pipe cleaner. Or if you don't have anything like that and you don't necessarily want to put them in a vase, you can just use, this is just an elastic band. So I just tied the middle with an elastic band. Now with this, obviously you're not going to be able to put this and arrange it in a vase, but you could put it on something flat like a dish, pretty plate or something like that, or even attach it to a gift, maybe a bit large unless it's a large gift, but as I say, you can make them in any sizes. If you wanted to attach something like this to a gift box or a present and you don't have double-sided tape, don't worry, because all you need is ordinary sellotape. Let me just tear a piece off. And literally, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because the sellotape is clear, but you just fold, so this is the non-sticky side, the sticky side is that way, and you just fold the edges in, and you end up with a circular piece of sellotape. There we are, so you can see it's a circular piece of sellotape, one piece on there, and then just stick it down onto whatever it is that you're doing. So you don't always need double-sided tape. Ordinary sellotape in a little roll will have exactly the same effect. Let me just pop that over there. No doubt it'll stick to that and then I won't be able to get it off later. So back to our 4 squares of serviette. Then literally all you do is you fold it like you were folding a fan. So you put one piece up, then you fold it back on itself, and then you fold it this way and then back on itself, this way and back on itself, and this way and back on itself. Now it doesn't matter if they're not quite even, it's not the end of the world. Then what you want to do is you want to find the center of this. So you can see it's a sort of a fan shape where you folded it in and out on itself. So to find the middle, just fold it in half, just squeeze the end there. So I'm just going to use this pipe cleaner. So you'll see roughly where the middle is, and you just, so I've bent the pipe cleaner over so you can see, and then I'm just going to twist it together. So can you see that? So I've just tied the pipe clean around the middle, fastened it off, and I'm just going to bend it so that it's that way up. So if that were the stem going down, it's that way, with the fan shape upwards. Then all you do next is you take your first square and you very, very gently pull the layers apart. And you do them alternative. So you've pulled that side, white layer. And now you pull this side. And you try, if possible, to just get the layers to wrap over themselves a little bit. So that you can't see the join. And then you take the coloured layer and do it. And it takes a little bit of time to know exactly how much pressure to pull these layers up with so that you get them to stand up nicely without tearing the tissue. Now, if you do tear the tissue, you wouldn't be the first. It's very easy to do. And if you look at this one that I made, on one of the layers, can't remember where it is now, I did tear the tissue, and so I can't find it now. So one of the layers, I tore some of it, and I just cut it off. Because once it's in here, you can see that actually it won't notice, because now I can't find where the torn layer is. So just, if you tear a bit, see that I think that bit's a bit smaller there, you can just snip it off and no one will be any the wiser. So you continue with this, I did that one last, alternating the sides, because it helps to just hide, because you're always going to get a little bit of a gap between the layers, but it just helps to hide where the layers meet at the sides. See, I tore that a little bit. Did you see that? No big deal. Also, you don't have to use that one colour serviette. You can use different colours. One thing that we used to do when I made these when I was a child was we used to have that ink, I think it was called Quink, that came in bottles, and we used to use white serviettes and used to very, very carefully dip the very edges of the white serviette in the ink, a little bit of ink, just to kind of, so that the ink soaked up, not huge amounts, but so it just gave this little pretty look to the edge of it. But that was probably because we had boring serviettes, because they were cheaper. And I think a lot of the thing is with crafting, you can spend a lot of money on crafts, or you can be really creative and just look around and see what you've got in your own home and what you can adapt. And don't let anyone ever tell you that that's not the way to do something. You just tell them that that was how you wanted it and it was your design. Never be afraid to experiment with crafts or improvise and try do something different. So as you can see, I'm just trying to bring that over to hide the join. And we're getting towards the end now. Last few layers. And as you get to the end, you won't be able to pull up quite as much of the paper because of the layers beforehand. And it will be harder to disguise the overlap. And you can sort of bend the tissue out a little bit if you want. And then the final one, and then I just usually just squeeze the bottom around a little bit like that. And then you can spend some time fluffing and arranging your flower until you've got it exactly how you want it. And there you go. One serviette flower, easy to do, something that you can do whilst listening to some music or watching some TV, and by the end of an evening you'd probably have a whole bouquet. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll try and do some more little craft videos. Let me know what you'd like to see. Let me know if these are helpful. Let me know if I'm giving enough instructions or too much. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.